Okay, hello everyone. I am Srinivas, your Maven and Tomcat and Jenkins trainer. Okay, today I am going to start Maven. Okay, I hope all you are able to hear me right. Okay, before starting the Maven, what are the common problems generally will face the developers? Okay, suppose if we are developing any projects, generally we will face the problems with using multiple jars. Suppose multiple third-party jars and different versions of the jars and different utility jars and maintaining the project structure and how we can build that project and deploy distributing the artifacts to customers or if we are want to deploy the generated artifacts into any application server. Generally developers will face these are the problems. So these problems we can solve by using Maven. So So how we can solve these problems is we can configure Maven with the multiple jars and dependencies, and it has some default lifecycle, adding the dependencies, building the project, and applying to different application servers, and maintaining the. It will generate the site of our project. Okay, so generally people will carry Maven as a build tool. Okay, it is not nothing a build tool. It has a build tool and it has a project management tool also. Okay, means we are not doing a build using Maven. Okay, because we will maintain the who are working on the project and who are subscribed to information about our project, and we can integrate with the version control systems, and we can integrate with the CI systems, continuous integration, and we can integrate with any project management tools like Jira, Bugzilla. So we can it will integrate with the uh, uh, any ALM systems or CI systems or version control systems. Okay, so first of all, what is a Maven? So Maven is a project management and comprehension tool. Okay, it provides the complete build life cycle framework. Okay, so whenever development team cannot automate the projects, okay, build infrastructure in almost no time, as Maven uses the uh, standard directory structure and layout, and it has some default build life cycle. So we no need to uh, write the configuration details. Where is our source directory and where we have to put our compiled source and where we have to put our jar files or var files. We don't need to specify. It has some default life cycle. Once we create a Maven project, it will take care of about the source directory structure and compile class directory structure and generated artifact structure. Okay, so what are the features we have in Maven? Okay, we can do a builds using Maven, and we can generate documentation and reports, dependencies, and integration with the version control systems, and we can maintain releases and distributions. Suppose if we have developed any some utility, so that utility want use other teams, we can distribute that utility to other team members. If you want to make it available in a publicly, also we can distribute in a public distribution. Okay, and mailing list means uh, some people want to subscribe notifications about your project. So we can do the notifications also. Okay. So what is the Maven objective? Okay, Maven primary goal is to provide developers uh, to a comprehensive model for projects which is a reusable and maintainable and easier to comprehend. Okay, it it has morely more plugin based framework, so it has lot of plugins, and it is integrated with a lot of tools. Okay, and it has interactive with this declarative model. It can interact with any plugin and any tool. Okay, so it is a open source, so everyone can develop some custom plugins also. Okay, so Maven project structure and contents are declared in an XML file. Okay, the file name is pom.xml. It means project object model. Okay, which is the fundamental unit of the entire Maven system. Okay, everything we will configure in this pom.xml. Okay, each project has one pom.xml. Okay, generally people will ask what is the difference between Ant and Maven. Okay, so we have only one similarity, it is the build. Okay, we have lot features in Maven. Okay, generally we can call it Maven as a convention over configuration. Why we have to call the convention over configuration is Maven uses uh, developers are not required to create any build process. Okay, it has some default life cycle. Okay, if you take Ant, we have to configure the where is our source directories, where is our build directory, where is our artifact directory. Everything we have to configure in a properties, and we have to write the uh, copy tasks, compile Java code, compile tasks, and jar generation, var generation, everything we have to write. Okay, in the Maven we no need to configure these things. Okay, so everything we have to mention the configuration details in the pom.xml. Okay, Maven provides a sensible default behavior for the projects. So when it will create the default behavior, when while creating Maven project, it will create the default project structure. Okay, so developer is only required to place files accordingly, need to define any configuration in the pom.xml. If any extra configuration is needed, we can just edit the pom.xml, and we will just update the configuration in the pom.xml file. Okay, so let's assume this is the sample directory structure. So once we create Maven project, okay, suppose I created one project, so my first Maven. Okay, here the base directory is the my first Maven project. Okay, so if we create a standard Maven project, okay, it will create the structure like this. It will first create the src directory. Okay, the base directory is our project name, and inside it will create one src directory and one pom.xml. Okay, in the root directory we can see the pom.xml. In the src directory we will have a main directory and test directory. Okay, in the main directory we will have a Java. In the Java folder we have to put our Java source code. And the same level we can have a resources directory. Suppose if you have any some properties files like environment specific properties, or some database connection properties, or some mail server connection details properties files, we can store in the resources folder. Okay, so once we build this Maven project, it will create the target directory in the project directory location where the src directories exist. In the same level it will create the target directory. In the target directory it will create the classes directory, and it will, in the classes directory, it will put the compiled classes. in the target directory. Finally it will create the jar file in the target directory. Okay, because we will use some archetype to create the project. That archetype has some default life cycle. Okay, so based on that life cycle it will uh, execute the build process. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so how we can install Maven? So, and first of all, what are the prerequisites to install Maven? Okay, only prerequisite is, yeah, primary use of Maven is uh, building purpose, project build, and maintain a good project directory structure, and integration with version control systems, and generating the documentation of our project, and dependencies. Main issue with this dependencies. Okay, if we are using ant or some other tools, if we use some other third party jars, we have to download those jars. Okay, and we have to put it in a class path while compiling our source code. Okay, so what is the common problem here is, suppose developers use some third-party jars. Okay, they downloaded the jars and they put the jars in their system class path, and they compiled and they worked on the code. Okay, and they committed code and they forgotten to commit the jar files. So you are working as release engineer. Okay, you will do a build using some CS system. Okay, at the time what will happen, the build will fail because developers have forgotten committing the jar files, so missing the dependencies. Okay, so if we use Maven, okay, they will just add the dependency in the pom.xml, so we no need to worry about the dependencies. So it will automatically download the dependency and it will proceed the build. Is it clear? Okay. So we have only one prerequisite. We have to install Java because it is developed upon Java. So we have to install the Java. And Maven is also it is a open source. Okay, we can download the source code and we can extend if we want to customize Maven. We can customize also. Okay. So first of all, we have to verify the Java installation. Okay, we can open the command prompt in Windows. In Linux, we can open terminal and you can check the Java version. If you find Java version, your Java is installed, and we have to type two more commands, Java and Java C. Okay, if it will give some list of option, what are the options available on those commands. Okay, so means your Java is installed and your JDK bin folder set in the system path. Okay, if it is not set, we have to create the Java underscore home environment variable, and we have to put JDK bin folder in the system path. Okay, so once Java is installed, okay, we can download the Maven from the maven.apache.org site. Okay. Okay, it will give you the zip file or a tar.gz. For Windows, you can download zip file. For Linux, you can download the tar.gz. Okay, the installation is very straightforward. if it is a zip file or a tar file, you can just extract whichever location you want to extract. Okay, and once extraction is completed, we have to set some environment variables. Okay, those are the m2 underscore home, and the path should be where your Maven is installed. The Maven root directory you have to specify in the m2 underscore home. And next we have to create Maven underscore opts. This is for how much JVM memory you want to allocate for your Maven build. Okay, while building a Maven project, it will take some Java memory. Okay, and how much memory you want to allocate, you can specify here. Okay, and next one is we have to put this Maven bin directory in the system path. So we have to set up these three environment variables in the system. Okay, and once set up these variables, we have to check the Maven installation. Okay, you can check with the MEN version. It will give you the installed Maven version and Java version, and which ways you have. It will give you the full information. Okay. Okay, let's move to the practice. So you all are familiar with Linux, right? Sorry. Okay, first I am checking Java version. Okay, Java is installed in my system. Once we type the Java command, it will give you the list of options like this. And you have to check the Java C. Java C is the Java compiler, and Java is the Java runtime. Okay, it means Java is installed and the JDK bin folder set in the system path. So if these are not set, so how we have to set in? You have to open the etc profile file, and you have to set environment variables in the Linux environment like this: export Java underscore home, and here you have to specify the JDK installation directory. And next, export path. Here dollar path means whatever uh, whatever tools are there in the already in the system path. I am putting that first, and after that I am appending my JDK bin folder. Okay, like this we have to set the system environment variables in the Linux environment. Okay. Okay. see downloads. Okay, we can download Maven from maven.apache.org site. Okay, you can click on the download. The left side you can see the download button, download link. Okay, you can click on the download. Okay, here we have a latest version Apache Maven 3.3.9. Okay, bin.tar.gz. You can download this one. Okay, I have that gz file. Okay, and I am making some directory in the user local Apache. Okay, so how we can extract tar file, tar-zxvf Apache Maven. Okay, if we directly hit enter here, it will extract the content in the same directory. Okay, if you want to specify other location, you can give a -c flag. Okay, user local Apache. Okay, here you can see computer usr local Apache. Okay, there is no folder here, right? Okay, it is extracted to user local Apache. Okay, so now we have to set up the environment variables. Copy and nano etc profile, export m2 underscore home. Okay, and export maven underscore opts hyphen capital X ms 256M. Means here min memory of JVM is 256 MB and capital X MX max. Okay, and 512M means 256 MB is the min memory and max is 512 MB. Okay, and dollar m2 underscore home slash bin. Okay, so here we have set up the environment variables and press Ctrl X, confirm Y, enter. Okay, so now you can check echo dollar m2 underscore home. Okay, it is not reflected environment variable. So sometimes if we change etc profile file, okay, sometimes it will not reflect. So at the time you have to run the source command to reload that file. Okay, and now you can check. Okay, so we have to check the Maven installation, men version. Okay, and this is my Maven home directory and this is my Maven installation version, and the Java home and the Java version is OS Linux. Okay, so Maven installation is completed successfully. Okay, so next. Okay, here I will make one more directory. So local training. Okay, so okay, we will how we can create some sample project. Okay, I will first give you some brief introduction about PAM.xml. Okay, so PAM stands for Project Object Model, and it is a fundamental unit of Maven projects, and it is a XML file. Okay, it always resides in the base directory of the project as a pom.xml. Okay, so what information it will contains? Okay, so it will contains the dependencies information and repositories information and version control information, developers information, and documentation information, reports information. Everything is available in the pom.xml. Okay, and so PAM also contains the goals and plugins. Okay, while executing a task or a goal, okay, Maven looks for the PAM in the current directory. Okay, so when we run MVN and some goals, okay, first it will check the pom.xml is available or not in that current directory. Okay, once it found, it will reads the PAM and gets needed configuration information, and then executes what are the goals you are passed along with your command. It will try to execute the those goals. Okay, so it will contains the plugins configuration goals, and if we have configured profiles for different environments, we can see the build profiles and some project versions, developers, and subscription list. Everything we can see in the pom.xml. Okay, and before creating a PAM, means before creating a Maven project, okay, we should first decide the project group. Okay, means it is a group ID. Okay, and its name, artifact ID, and its version. These three attributes help in uniquely identifying the project in the repository. Suppose if we distributed the artifact to other teams, okay, and we are going to release multiple versions, how it will recognize based on these three parameters only, it will identify the correct artifact. Okay, so this is the example PAM. Okay, if you take any pom.xml, these are the three mandatory elements: group ID, artifact ID, version. Okay, okay, it should be noted that there should be a single POM file for each project. Okay, so all POM files requires project element and three mandatory fields: group ID, artifact ID, and version. So so how the artifact will check in the repositories: group ID colon artifact ID colon version. Okay, so here I will explain about group ID, artifact ID, and version. So group ID means this is the ID of project's group. This is generally unique among us an organization. Suppose uh, so I am working with some bank. Okay, some a banking is a group ID. Okay, in that bank we have we have sub modules like credit card banking, net banking, debit cards. These are the sub projects. Okay, here our group ID is banking. Okay, and next one is artifact ID. This is an ID of the project. This is generally name of the project. Name of the project means credit card banking is the name of project, and net banking is the name of the project, and consumer banking This is the name of the project. And the next one is version. uh, Version is the so we will generally release different versions. So today we are released 1.0. After 1 month we may release 1.1 version. So we have to give the version also. Okay. So while creating the project, we have to specify these three things. Okay. Okay, we will come with later build life cycle. So we'll create a first sample Maven project. Okay. um, Local and tra- training. Okay, how we can create sample standard Maven project? MVN archetype colon generate. Okay, we have to use this command to create a sample standard Maven project. Okay, click enter. Okay, whenever you run the command the first time, okay, it will download the dependencies jars. Okay, and while running your Maven command, okay, you have to make sure your internet connection should work. Okay, because it will download the dependencies from the internet, so your internet connection should work. Okay, it will take some time the first time, and the next time onwards it will not take this much time, because it will already downloaded the dependencies to our local system. Okay. Okay, generating project in interactive mode. So it will display the available archetypes. Okay, so these are the available archetypes in Maven Central Repository. Total archetypes is 104 1497 archetypes are available. Okay, and the default archetype is 704. Okay, this is the standard Maven project. Okay, so I'm taking the default one only. You can just hit enter, and default you can hit enter again. Okay, here define a value for property group id. Okay, here I am giving Maven training. Okay, and the artifact id is uh, first Maven app. Okay, and the version is 1.0 iphone snapshot. Okay, here snapshot means if we put snapshot in your version, in your palm version, means that is a not a stable version, it is under development. Okay, here snapshot means currently we are working on this. Okay, it is not a stable version. Okay, suppose if you want release, we have to remove the snapshot in the pom.xml and we have to give a release. Okay, is it clear what is snapshot? Simply it is under development. It is not a stable version, it is under development. Okay, I'm taking the default version 1.1.0 f1 snapshot and the package is Maven training. Okay, hit enter, and these are the details we provided. Okay, if this information is correct, you can confirm the with y. Okay, build success, and here you can see it is gets created one first Maven app folder, and go to the directory. Here you can see src and pom.xml. If you see this pom.xml, we have project is the root element, and we have three mandatory elements: group id, artifact id, and the version. And another one is packaging type is jar, means once we build this project it will give you the jar file. Okay, if it is a var file it will give you the var file. Okay, this is the name of our project, and we can customize these things. Okay, if you have separate url for your project, you can specify the url here. Okay, and here default, here it is added one dependency, that is the JUnit dependency. Okay, and in this we have some sample class file app.java. It will just print hello world. Okay, for this hello world we have some sample test case. Okay, in the src main directory is there, and test directory is there. In the test java maven training app test. Okay, this is the JUnit test case. To execute this JUnit test case, in the pom.xml uh, added this JUnit dependency. Okay, so I want to compile my source code. So mvn compile. So here you can see the goal is specified, requires a project to execute, but there is no pom in this directory. Okay, we are in the training directory. Okay, in the training directory there is no pom.xml. So we have to move the first Maven app. Okay, so now we can run this mvn compile. Now it will create the target directory in the Maven training, in the first Maven app. Okay, build is success, and here you can see target directory is created, and in this target directory we have a classes. Maven training is the package, and app.class. Okay, so I want to generate a jar file. So how we can do that? Mvn package. Okay, and build is success, go to target directory, and here you can see test hyphen classes. Here we have a compiled test classes, and here we have a JUnit report. Okay, here if you open with the browser, so so tests, total tests are 1, and total failed 0. This is the class name, app test. Okay, and finally here we have a jar file. First Maven app 1.0 snapshot.jar. Okay. Okay, this is the sample. It will print a just hello world. We can, if you want run, we can run here. Java-cp target first tab Maven training.app. Okay. It is printed hello world. Okay, it is just printing hello world. That's why we can run the uh, through command line. Okay, in the real time it's not possible because it will not print a just a hello world, right? It will do some operations. Okay, so is it clear? Any doubts? Hello, are you able to hear me? Yeah, sure. Okay, so I will briefly repeat once again. Okay, why we have to use Maven is generally developers will face a lot of issues with the dependency jars and building and deployment, these kind of issues. Okay, if we use Maven, we can solve these kind of issues because everything, Maven has default build life cycle, so everything it defaultly configured in the default life cycle, so we no need to configure uh, configurations manually. Okay, if we want do some customization, then we definitely we have to add. Okay, but while building, at the first time building, you no need to configure anything. It has some default life cycle, so it will create the directory structures and some default dependencies, everything it will add in your pom.xml. Okay, so once your project is growing and you are, if you want to add some customization, then you have to write some configuration in the pom.xml. Okay, and in the in Maven we can do a builds, and we can generate a site, and we can integrate with the version control systems, CI systems, and defect tracking systems and project management tools. Okay, and we can add some developers list. Okay, contributors list, everything we can configure in the Maven projects. Okay, and How we can create a sample standard Maven project is we have to run the command mvn archetype colon generate. Okay, once we run this command, it will give you the available archetypes. Okay, it will list the what are the archetypes are available. It will give you the list. Okay, we have to choose from that list which archetype is suitable for us. Okay, we have to choose that archetype and we have to generate the Maven project. Okay, so here once we run this archetype colon generate command, it will give you the list of archetypes, right? So it is difficult to find out. So how we can check that? We can write to a file archetype archetypes.txt. It will write what are the archetypes available. It will write to that file. Okay, you can open that file and you can see the archetypes. Okay, so here we have created the project with the standard Maven project. Okay, it has some structure, src directory and pom.xml. In the pom.xml we have some default dependency, that is the JUnit, because it has written some default test case also. Okay, suppose if you want to generate some web application, okay, we can find out the which archetype is suitable for the web application, and we have to create a project using that archetype. Okay, so here training. So if you open this archetypes, so total is 1497. Okay, and a default archetype number is 704. Okay, don't remember this number, because these numbers will automatically update every weekly once or monthly once. Okay, these archetypes will be arranged in a sorted order. Okay, don't remember this number, you can have to remember this maven archetype quick start. Okay, this is the an archetype which contains a sample Maven project. Okay, and next, if you want to create a web application, okay, here we have a 707. Okay, maven archetype web app. Okay, an archetype which contains a sample Maven web app project. Okay, if you want to generate a sample site, okay, you can use this maven archetype site simple. Okay, an archetype which contains a sample Maven site. Okay, if you want to generate some JS or portlet project, you can use this maven archetype portlet. Okay, like this you can choose archetype name, archetype, and you can generate a Maven project. Is it clear? Any doubts? Okay, um, can I continue or stop for today? Yeah, in the pom.xml we have three mandatory fields. One is the group id, artifact id, and a version. Group id is a unique identification of it's a one for an organization. Suppose if you take banking, okay, our group id is banking, and artifact id, it is a sub module, and sub projects are available in the that company. Okay, It's generally the artifact ID is the project name, and the group ID is the organization name. Let's assume like that. Okay, and the version is our development versions. Anything else? Okay, can I continue or stop for today? Okay, okay, sure.